another Black Inspirational Spotlight with writer, director, producer. What don't you do? Corey Grant.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's all good. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. How's it going?
It's cool, man. Tired of being in the house, but getting a lot of work done.
I hear that.
Working and stuff, so I can't complain. Getting some writing done, so that's a good thing, right?
That's great. That's great. Keep coming with the hits. Keep coming with the hits. Now, we've been asking, all our guests this question, since we're all locked up in quarantine. What have been your go-to shows to binge watch, and then the snacks that you've been snacking on while you've been watching?
Me, right? It's Black AF. I'm
Yes.
loving that show. That was because I love that type of situational comedy. Some people don't get it. It's a little edgy, but that's like my thing. So I love what Kenny was doing with that. Actually had a meeting with his production company a couple of times, so they're real good people over there. Also, Waco. I binged that in one sitting. About the attack on Waco back in the 90s. I remember that when I was a little boy. David Koresh, the Branch Davidians, like a cult. Kind of, they say they were a cult, but they were like a religious sect, and the government kind of came down on them. It's really good. I think it might be the best thing on TV right now.
Really? The best thing?
It's one of them. It's up there. It's on Netflix. Man, of course, Ozark. That was like a 2-day bed. I love Ozark. David Bateman is my favorite actor. I love it. Anybody that knows me know I love David. I've been loving David Bateman for about 10, 12 years. I just love him because he has that range. He's very sarcastic, but he's serious and funny, and I just love that balance. He's like one of my favorites. So that's just a few, but there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Okay. Now, let's get to know you a little bit. You grew up in Illinois.
Yep.
Went to Norfolk State, the University of Virginia, and then you landed a gig at NBC. After NBC, you ended up going back to school. You went back to Howard University.
Yep.
And there you received your master's in film.
Yes, I did.
Now, some would call, Howard the real HU, right?
It is. It's the only HU. The only HU.
Let's go. Was this always your plan to go into filmmaking, or did something happen while you were at NBC?
Well, it's funny. My mom works for the Department of Justice. She's a federal probation officer, and so when I first went to undergrad at Norfolk State, and I grew up in Joliet, Illinois, which is a south suburb of Chicago, and just seeing her, being a single mom and raising me, and then ultimately getting a job with the government where they moved her to D.C. It was an environment. So she was in criminal justice, her spent her career, and so when I went to undergrad, my initial thought was, hey, do what my mom did, go and follow my mom's footsteps. So my major in undergrad at first was criminal justice.
Okay. Because
that's what I wanted to kind of get into. But I had always had a fondness of movies and TV, but more movies. I'm a big Star Wars buff.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those Spielberg kids. So I grew up seeing all these different stories, and it was always in me. So maybe my second year of college, I decided to change my major to communications so I could start getting into, video and different things like that. And my mom almost had a fit at first, but not as bad as I thought she was, because she saw my GPA just shoot all the way up in college because I kind of found my calling. And then I started interning, and then I ended up getting a job with a NBC affiliate in Norfolk. So but that was for more news. Television wasn't really TV or film perhaps, but it was like a kind of a start to kind of see it. And then I really decided that, hey, I want to direct movies. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do. And so then after I graduated with communications, I took a year off and then decided to go ahead and go to Howard and get my MFA in film. And that's kind of where I got going and really started to learn how to write and the craft of filmmaking.
Yeah. Now, of course, you had to watch, a ton of television shows and movies during your studies. Did you have any particular ones that really inspired you from from a storytelling point of view?
Well, one of the things that I kind of had an idea of I want my style to be as a director, but one of the things that's hard for most filmmakers is most filmmakers don't write. And when I was in the film program at Howard, we had to write. We had to take screenwriting courses, and just were forced to sit down and write a script. And then that's where I got my calling, because I can actually write down and pre-visualize what I wanted to shoot and then write it down. And it taught us story structure. And one of the earliest movies that I remember looking at where I really understood story structure, because of the way they had it kind of segmented it out, was Love and Basketball. I think that's one of the most balanced scripts, structurally perfect scripts you can look at if you really want to understand the structure of screenwriting and telling a story.
I agree.
So that was like an early influence for me as far as learning how a story should move, a beginning, a middle, end, reversals, inciting incidents. So definitely Love and Basketball as far as writing. My second one would probably be the movie Crash that came out in like 2000 something by Paul Haggis, where they had all these intertwining characters and different parallel stories that all ultimately affect one another indirectly. So that was another one. So those were kind of like early writing influences that I saw that kind of helped me understand that.
Okay. And what about television?
TV, you know, I grew up a Cosby kid. Cosby Show, of course. You know, I love the Cosby Show. You know, all those early those sitcoms from the late '80s, '90s. Those sitcoms, just there was just so many, but it was a different style. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, my attention wasn't really to get into television. My overall intent was movies. I never looked at I want to direct TV, because TV, they relinquish so much control from you. And in the beginning, I always just stayed away from it. You know, TV back in the 90s and early 2000s was a stepchild to film. Now it's becoming the reverse. You follow? So now it started to become very apparent that this is a medium that I need to move into, doing long form storytelling. And now with all these different streaming platforms and different studios, different things coming out, there's so many outlets, and TV is really pushing the envelope now. Film's still in there, but TV is really pushing the envelope, and I attest that to the new streaming platforms mostly.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, right there, congratulations on your new show, Pump.
Pump, yeah, Pump.
Yes. But before we get to Pump, it's streaming on Ubranflixtv. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what Ubranflix is for those of us who aren't sure what it is?
It's kind of like what it sounds. It's a new streaming platform similar to Netflix or any other streaming platform, but their mantra is redefining the term urban. So what their mantra is, they greenlight and get behind multicultural content. You know what I mean? Pretty much if you go outside and when you look around, what you see, that's what you see on your screen. So there's there's shows where you have a predominantly white cast or a black cast, but they don't live in predominantly white worlds or black worlds. You have different things going around, and it's just very, very inclusive, but not to the point of detracting from the story you're trying to tell. You know what I mean? They just don't cater to one demographic or one lifestyle or one sexual orientation. They cater to people, and I think it's a great network. They have a lot of money and support behind it. The CEO is a gentleman out from Chicago, but they're based out of the Philippines, and they put together this studio, put a bunch of money behind it, and I was just so lucky that one of the executives, Phaedra Harris, helped me start my career years ago. She's a casting director, but a producer, and she knew about this TV show that I had in the back burner that BET played around with. It used to be called Crunches, and they just didn't have the insight at the time. They sat over there, they didn't want to do nothing, so I just put it away, kept doing movies, and the right opportunity presented itself. So Ubranflixtv, you can find them at Ubranflixtv.com. You can find them on Apple TV, on Roku, your smart TVs, your phones. But it is really doing well. I got a call today. They launched early, because of the pandemic. So just there, but it wasn't supposed to launch for another couple months. They were starting to get their market campaign, but people are here. People want things to watch. They say, you know what? Let's just start now.
Thanks.
And people are finding it. TV commercials are starting to run nationally. I think on Tuesday, they've been doing a lot of the marketing and getting it up going. So in a minute, I think everybody's gonna be going to it, because right now the numbers are going crazy. So I'm very happy for the network and them.
That's
and
great.
they have us there. So yeah.
Congratulations. So how did you come up with the ideas for Pump?
So one of my close friends and a producing partner of mine, his name is Chavez Frazier. He's from Chicago too. So, but we didn't know each other back there. We didn't meet till we got to LA. So I've known him for a long time. So we've been tight working. He's produced with me or whatever. So he used to be a trainer for this gym on the south side of Chicago. It was a Bally's, Chicago. And he would tell me these crazy stories about all the crazy stuff that were happening there. All the different characters, the times where all the strippers would come in, and then another time where all the law enforcement people would come in, and they'd be mixing together, and all the dope dealers would come in, and just this big melting pot of different people, but everybody's there to hang out and work out and have fun at the gym. So it was just a melting pot of characters, and he would just tell me these stories. Yeah. And so we came up with this idea years ago, just in talking the stories, and that's kind of where it started from, just talking to him, and we just started expanding and thinking, and it just got crazy. So that's how we came up with the concept.
Okay, that's great. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the process and the timeline of production from the conception of the idea to it being released?
Yeah, so you're thinking about Chavez and I, we did this movie years ago called Dysfunctional Friends, that had like Megan Good and Stacey Dash, and it was a who's who of everybody in this movie. And it did really well for us. Did a small theatrical run, and it lives forever on BET and on streaming platforms. But after that, we started talking about this concept, and this is around 2009, 10 or whatever. Just started talking about it, started jotting it down, and then we waited for a while, and then during this time, I started working on a movie called Sister Code. It was an Emma Rose movie that I did, and that's where I met this actress through the casting director, Phaedra Harris. This actress named Lynette Tichelle, and we got real tight and close. I casted her and realized that she had writing aspirations. She just didn't really understand the whole technical aspect of it. Yeah. So we kind of got cool, but we vibed comedy, we vibed on drama. We kind of had the same sensibility, so I kind of worked with her a little bit, and she ended up starting to write a little bit. We started collaborating. So then we went ahead and kind of fleshed out the story more, what it was called Crunches. And then we ended up taking it up to BET. This is around, I give that around 2016. Okay. And it sat. One of the execs liked it up there, and it was everyone wanted to do something interested in it, and it just sat. And I didn't wait, because we were still doing movies. But what I've learned here is that, if you can write and create, you can always find another opportunity. You can't sit and wait for the executives who maybe aren't creators or don't have the same vision. 100%. So it just that. We worked on other stuff. Yep. And then then once the streaming platforms started popping up, and then I saw that the audiences were changing a lot in terms of the content they were looking. They were looking at more edgier stuff and more situational comedy, which a lot of African-American shows, they don't really go that way too much. As of late, Kenya Barris is one of the first with Blackish, but that's the type of comedy I like, not the 1, 2, 3 laugh, 1, 2, 3 laugh, the same stuff you see. No, not knocking that, but the comedy has evolved. Yeah. I like lyric. I like the comedy makes you think. Right, you know what I mean? Makes you think. So once that happened, I was like, you know what? We need to take this Crunches show, and we need to just completely strip it down and completely revamp it to the comedy that we like. Because initially, it was a multi-camera show, 3 cameras like you see on stage. Formula. I was like, that's what they want, but no, that's not what we're doing. So we just stripped it down, got edgy, got situational, really fleshed out the characters, and really made something that we were 100% creatively behind, that we could get behind, that wasn't following, but doing something different. And then that was around 17, and then we did another movie, and then we heard about Ubranflix. Phaedra Harris became an executive up there. She's been my longtime casting director, And when they were starting to put the network together, the first thing she thought about was, hey, what's going on with Pump now? Because we changed the name from Crunches to Pump, the more provocative. You know what I mean? And then took the meetings up there, and when they were still getting the network together, and they loved it, and that's how we got there. And that was, I think now is we're in 2020. This is late 2018.
Yeah.
We shot it last year around June, July, and then now it's out now.
Yes, and it's working.
Yeah. First season.
Now,
shot the whole season. Yeah.
Yes, and it's working out great. Thank you. So glad we get to watch this during this time right now.
Right.
But now it is a comedy, but you guys do have some underlying messages in there. For example, the character Sean, who's portrayed by Ray J.
Ray J, yeah.
He goes through a humbling experience, having to deal with facing failure and his pride and whatnot. Now, were these themes a priority while you guys were creating the show, or tell us a little bit about the themes that?
Well, one thing one of my professors at Howard taught me, is a professor named Michael Holman. He taught screenwriting. He told me that if you can make them cry and laugh in the same project, you got yourself a hit. You know what I mean?
Amen. Amen.
And what my training and just watching things, a lot of times certain programs or movies don't hit because they don't understand the balance that you have to have when you're having a comedy. Comedy can't be all laughs. Drama can't be all tears. You have to have a balance. That's humanity. That's what resonates with people. And you have to give people a breath to kind of conceptualize what's happening, then put them back on a roller coaster again. So in doing that, we want to kind of really explore the things of when you get success, but then you turn away from the main things that made you who you are, or the family and the friends, that sometimes there's a reckoning, there's a come to Jesus moment where you're going to have to go back to those same people. And then who are you at that point in time? You know what I mean? And with this character, Sean, you know, he's became a world famous fitness trainer with supplements, made millions of dollars, left the gym that he worked at, only to fall from grace because it became something he wasn't. Got arrogant, got rich and arrogant, and disjointed from society, the big head, and then loses it all. So now he's forced to come back, and then find out who he really is again. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing we wanted. Now we wanted to have fun, but you know, we wanted to have fun. I think we did. We pushed it. It shows.
It shows.
But,
it shows.
Right. But the unique thing about Ray J is Ray J has his personality. He's infamous. People love and hate Ray J at the same time for some reason. But Ray J is a great guy. And no matter how much of an ass you think he is or whatever, you still like him. Which why that character, how he played that character works so well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know Ray is an actor. He is he started off acting. Yeah. Like he really takes it serious. You know what I mean? And with him, you know, I would think he's coming in and don't know his lines. He take 2 takes and he's ready to go, showing all kind of levels, and he wants to be directed. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have their perceived notions of what he was when they start the show, but as it goes on, you say, "Oh wow, I think he's you like him. He's showing some depth," and he knocked it out the park. So those are the themes, and then we also wanted to get into relationships. We wanted to get into touch on gentrification of Inglewood. You know, it's just the show is set in Inglewood. Inglewood being very gentrified now, so now you have different walks of life all being pushed together to learn one another. So there's a lot of different things, but we wanted to make sure that we had the heart in there. And when we go into season 2, we'll start to expand more on that aspect of the show.
That's big. That's real. That's real. Now, speaking of Ray J and the rest of the cast, which is so well put together, by the way, did you have everybody in mind that you wanted to play these characters already? Or how was that?
Actually, to be honest with you, when we first came up with this show, I think when I first came up with this show some years back, I think I was going to go with I think on my deck I had Christian Keys.
Okay.
I was going to bring T.O. back, Tamika, who plays the front desk. That was actually her name is Tamika because I was thinking about Tiny from T.I. and Tiny. Who else? It was a few people in there, but over time, it those kind of choices kind of morphed into what we have, which we have the perfect cast, perfect. Jennifer Freeman,
yes,
who plays Brianna. Jennifer, she was, I watched her on Wife and Kids for years.
My wife, yeah,
yeah, and she's so nice and she's so sweet. Yep. she's like, she's just sweet. She's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah,
and then I just thought seeing her just innocence and putting her in this craziness is just hilarious to me because she's the only sane person there.
Level-headed. Yep.
So then you look at McKinley Freeman, who I worked with on this movie Illicit. Star Hit the Floor. All the ladies love this guy. You know what I mean? And he came in to play Jared, and he just killed it. That's my guy. And then Lynette Tichelle, of course, who plays Tamika, who's a co-creator of the show. She was supposed to represent the audience. She sees the gym from
I see that.
There's no holds barred. She's the smallest thing in there, but the most feistiest. Yeah. And then you take in Cynthia Rodriguez, who plays Serenity. Mm-hmm. She plays the Tourette's suffering yoga instructor.
Yeah, I mean howling.
Right, and Cynthia, she and that was a role that we cast 4 times until we got it right, until we found her, which is fun. I was so happy. That was a hard role to cast, and we casted, I think, 3 people before we had to pull out of contracts, and then we found her because it was just the key. Just didn't sit right until we found. I knew it wasn't the right ingredients until we got her. And then you look at Redrick Williams, who plays Howard, our nutritionist, who can't let go of the burgers and fries, do as I say, not as I do.
And new diet.
The funny, the funny thing about Red is that character. I mean, you would think he's supposed to be a real big fat guy and all this, and just over the top. But Red came in when he auditioned. He initially auditioned for Shine, because Red is a very straight-laced actor. He's really good, and I like straight comedy. I like situational, and he read it differently. He read it straight, and I saw the comedy I can get out of it. And I don't think he got it at first. Why I thought he would be funny in this role because it was nothing like him. So we put a fake belly on him and had him come in and read for Howard, and he nailed it. You know what I mean? And then you round out with Michael Jai White, who came in to be that voice of reason. Yep. So the main cast, everybody was just on point.
Yeah, it worked out very well. Very well. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. What advice, if any, do you have for those trying to break into the film industry?
I get that. That's always the question.
Yeah. I love all the different answers that people have.
Number one, if I can do it, you can do it. Because nobody opened any doors for me. Right. And when I say that, I mean that. I didn't have a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? I didn't have any of that. All I had was my talent and my perseverance. And on top of that, being prepared and knowing your skill level, knowing what you do best, and if you don't know, learning. I went to film school. Film school is not there for everybody, but it's nothing for you not to go out there and get in books, read about screenwriting, read about directing. Then go out and shooting. We got iPhones now. When I was first getting going, we didn't have stuff like that to go shoot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then, most importantly, if you're really trying to go the route of a director, you should write. Because if you write a great script, they don't necessarily want you, they want your script.
Right.
But guess what? If they don't get your script, you attach yourself to that script. I want to direct it. That's how I got going. I wrote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those are some of the key things. Other things is your journey is going to be different. There's 15 million ways to do what you're trying to get to. But the one thing that you can't change is your work ethic and your confidence. You're going to get way more no's than yes until people just start saying yes.
That's real.
It's just what it is. Mm-hmm. And then another thing, and this is another one. This is a tricky one. And this goes for like filmmakers and as well as actors. More actors than anything, but I get tons of people that hit me, message me, all kind of things as far as actors. I'm talking about actors first. Yeah. Talking about they want to be in. I want to be in one of your parts. I want to be in this. I want to be in that. But they're in Bumblefuck, Iowa, or some Montana way out the grid, and they might be the most phenomenal actors, period.
Yeah.
My motto is, it's very hard to step out on faith and pursue your dreams. It's very hard to move to LA where you don't know anybody, when it's super expensive, and go through the struggling actor thing.
Yep.
I'm inclined to work with those people that are here, that are struggling, but know this is what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? That want to do the work. Not the people that want to put their toe in to see if the water's warm enough yet before they jump in.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
And so why would I throw out a lifeline out there to kind of put you in a situation where I got a million people here that are sacrificing every day and, you know, struggling for what they love to do. So that's one thing. You got to be where it's happening. Okay. Right. But everybody can't do that. But that is no reason why you can't be shooting stuff at home, shooting stuff in your own hometown. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can get an editing software online for $20 a month. You have iPhones. Thanks. You can shoot. You know what I mean?
In 4K now.
Right. But, right. So, but Hollywood breathes off of newness. They don't tell you this, but they need new actors. They need new directors. They need new writers. They need all that. It's like a circle. Yep. But the problem people don't understand is that they can't just let anybody in. They want to see people that are actually doing something, that put the work in to pass them through a door. You know what I mean?
Big time.
And then sometimes, if you work hard yourself, you're going to walk through that door on your own like I did.
Yep.
I had to force my way in, but it's because of my work. So don't just look for somebody just to quote unquote put you on. Do the work. They're going to see you. You know what I mean? If this is what your true calling is, you're going to be there. And I 100% believe that. I know, I'm not going to name names. I can name about 14, 15 people that everybody on this thing knows, and it's like A-list, whatever, that I seen sleeping on couches, that I saw going giving blood with to get money. Today, I've been there. I've done it. I've seen it. I've been around it. You find I'm getting that? Those are the people. You know what I'm saying? So
I definitely do.
Yeah. So that's my one thing I would say to anybody. You know what I mean? Don't. And if somebody try to tell you no, just go out and do it yourself.
Yeah.
I don't believe in no.
I love that.
That's all right. I do it myself. You know. So.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Gems. Yeah, that's so real. That's so real. Now, you know, speaking of which, we all face, you know, these challenges. Some, like you were just talking about, where, you know, we're from the middle of nowhere and we got to get here. But obviously, like you said, persistence is key. What motivated you and kept you going? Or what keeps you going? What motivates you now still?
I mean, knowing my destiny is, I can't live without creating. This is what I've been put on this earth to do. And not letting somebody else dictate what my worth is. That's you follow me in that?
That's big.
You know, I know what my worth. I know what I'm here to do. I've gotten several movies on TV. Yeah. I've sat down with people that wouldn't turn my phone calls, but didn't end up having to. Just me. You know what I mean?
That's real. Real.
And that's what keeps me. I have to create. I have tons of projects, and I'm gonna keep making them, keep doing them. Mm-hmm. And doors are just opening now. They were opening before, but I had to kind of like walk in them. Oh, yep. You did this. This you? Oh, you know, it's that type of situation. People know who I am, and then you have other people that are kind of you have your haters, your detractors out there. But if you don't have haters, you ain't doing nothing.
Yep. That's real. That's what they always say.
But you have to know what your purpose is and stand by it, and not let earthly things keep you from what your divine guidance, what God has for you. And I firmly believe that there's no way, if you look at it on paper, I should be doing the things that I'm doing now. When it was a dream when I was back in Joliet. When I moved to LA, I went to film school, then it became a goal. You know, dreams are just what they call it, are things that are unacted on. When you start moving towards it, it's a goal, and that's real. That's real, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely so, you know.
Yeah, that's a big realization right there. Mm-hmm. Big realization. Well, I don't want to hold you any longer. I love this conversation. It's so motivating, and I love your story.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I don't want to hold you any longer. How can people stay connected with you and to follow your journey? What are social media and all that?
Well, on Instagram, what is my Corey G NTU on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the Pump Instagram, which I think is pumpofficial.com or Pump TV. I don't know. If you look me up, you'll see it on there. And I'm around. You can send me messages or whatever. I try to answer most, but I get a lot. But most of the times, people know the answers that they come to me for. They kind of already know. But if they listen to this, they know exactly what how I move. You know what I mean? So, but I appreciate you having me on.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for all the gems. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate you, Corey, Grant. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all check out Pump. Make sure you check out. Got a hot sound. And listen to that hot soundtrack. The soundtrack was by my girl Sheree.
Okay.
Sheree, Universal. She's on Instagram. She's the supervisor. A lot of great artists on there. And check out Pump Ubranflixtv.
Let's do that. And we can find all that through your profile. Have a good night.
I'm all there, guys. All right, thanks, everybody.
All right.
Have a good one.